To run a VM on Windows, we need to install a hypervisor, in this case VirtualBox. Head on over to the official VirtualBox website and download the installer. If virtualbox.org is down, then you can also download the same installer from the Oracle VirtualBox downloads page. Open the installer and go through these setup prompts on your own. For the features, I'd suggest leaving the default selections alone unless you know that you need to disable something. Before we launch VirtualBox, let's download the Ubuntu ISO image from the official Ubuntu downloads page. Once that's downloaded, let's make sure that virtualization is enabled. Press Ctrl-Shift-Escape to open Task Manager, go to the Performance tab, select CPU, and find where it says virtualization. If this is disabled, you won't be able to run 64-bit VMs unless you enable this setting in your BIOS. To do that, restart your computer, and when it turns on again, your screen will briefly show the key that you need to press on startup to enter the BIOS. For me, that key is the delete key. Once you've figured out the key for your computer, restart the computer again, and this time repeatedly spam press that key or hold it down while the computer starts up again until you see the BIOS screen. Every motherboard is different, therefore this screen may look different for you, but generally you want to look for a setting called SVM Enable or SVM Mode for AMD CPUs, or a setting called Intel Virtualization Technology for Intel CPUs. For my motherboard, that setting is within the overclocking settings. Again, Google or ChatGPT where the virtualization setting is for your motherboard, and once you have it enabled, save your changes and exit the BIOS. Other things to look out for that could potentially prevent your VM from running in VirtualBox include settings related to Hyper-V. For most PCs, Hyper-V should not interfere with VirtualBox, so I'm not telling you to disable those settings that you see in this control panel window, which include Hyper-V, Virtual Machine Platform, Windows Hypervisor Platform, and Windows Sandbox. Rather, I'm telling you to keep a note of these in case you encounter issues later on in this video. The only other setting that I know that could interfere with VirtualBox is memory integrity in core isolation. Again, don't disable this, just remember it. Now let's actually create a VM. Open up VirtualBox and click on where it says New. If you don't see this New button up here, then make sure that on this menu button to the right of Tools that Welcome is selected, or click New from Machine up here. Name the VM whatever you want, and for where you place this VM on your machine, I highly recommend placing the VM on an SSD rather than on a hard disk drive. For the ISO image, navigate to where you downloaded that Ubuntu disk image file, select that, and the rest of the fields will be populated. In this video, we will not be doing unattended installation, so check the skip unattended installation box. Only because I have found that unattended installation is not consistent and can lead to bugs when it doesn't work. Then either expand this unattended install section or click the next button on the bottom right corner if you don't see all the sections on my screen. Everything in this section should be grayed out or read only. Don't worry though, we will set a username and password as well as install guest additions later on in the video. So move on to the hardware section or click next again, and according to the Ubuntu website, the minimum hardware requirements include 4 GB of RAM and 2 CPU core processors. Those resource specs will technically work for your VM, but I actually recommend setting them to at least double that amount if your computer has the available resources. Now expand hard disk or click next. 25 GB is the minimum space requirement for Ubuntu, so we can leave the rest of these default values alone unless you know what you're doing. And click Finish. Before starting the VM, I want to modify a setting for this VM. So right click the VM on the left side of the VirtualBox Manager, select Settings, make sure Expert is selected up here, then go to Display, specifically the amount of video memory because the default value is very low. So increase the VRAM and press OK. Then run the VM by making sure that the Details menu is selected and clicking the Start button. Once it's running, let's expand the window and increase the zoom level via the View menu option so that we can better see what's going on. You'll see some options that you can navigate through with the up and down arrow buttons. Make sure that the option labeled Try or Install Ubuntu is selected and press Enter. Note that this will take a little bit of time, so please like and subscribe. You may see some error messages like these ones. Try ignoring them. If it looks like at any point that the screen is stuck, it's been a really long time and nothing has happened, then reset the VM by going to Machine up here and selecting Reset, or pressing Host R on your keyboard. The host button is labeled on the bottom right corner of the screen, which in my case is the right control key. Once the Ubuntu OS has finished booting up and you see the actual Ubuntu GUI, you'll be greeted by this Ubuntu installation wizard. Go ahead and go through each of these prompts on your own to customize your Ubuntu installation to your liking. If you choose to update your installer, just relaunch it after the update and resume going through the prompts in the installation wizard. Once the installation wizard has finished, restart the VM by clicking this power button on the top right corner. Upon restart, you may be prompted to press enter. Just go ahead and press enter. And after waiting a bit and ignoring some more false positive error messages, you'll be prompted to log in, so just go ahead and log in. After logging in, you'll be greeted by this Welcome Ubuntu screen. Go through the various prompts to complete the setup for Ubuntu. Now let's quickly test that the internet connection in this VM is working by opening up Firefox and trying to search for anything. If you don't see search results, then go back to VirtualBox Manager, go to the settings for this VM, specifically the network settings, and make sure that network adapter is enabled. If it's not, you'll have to shut down the VM first before enabling it. If the internet still isn't working after making that change, then change the adapter type to bridged adapter and make sure cable connected is enabled. Then reset or restart the VM. Let's fix the window view so that the GUI actually takes up the entire window by right-clicking the background, selecting display settings, and changing the resolution to one that best suits you. I'm going to select 1920 by 1080. The last few things I want to do are related to guest additions. If you go to devices up here, there are features such as shared folders and shared clipboard that even if you enable them here, they will not work without guest additions. To install guest additions, select this option to insert the guest addition CD image. A CD icon should pop up on the left side of the screen. If it didn't or you get an error message pop up, you'll have to manually retrieve the guest additions.iso file by going to optical drives, choose a disk file, and locate the disk image file in your VirtualBox installation. This file path is typical for Windows and will be in the description below. In either case, you'll see a CD icon pop up on the left side. Click on it and that'll open up a files window for that guest additions disk file. But before we actually install the guest additions, we need to install some prerequisite packages that the additions depend on. To do that, open up the terminal by clicking this white bar on the top left corner and looking up terminal. Then type out these commands from the description of the video, one line at a time. Run each one by pressing enter, authenticating yourself when prompted, and typing Y and pressing enter when prompted. Once that's done, we can finally run the guest additions installer. Go back to files where that disk image was located, right click this autorun.sh file and select run as program. Authenticate yourself and wait for this installation to finish. You'll know the installation is done when it says press return to close this window at the bottom of the terminal, and the screen may have resized itself. If that's the case, go ahead and restart your VM. Let's double check that guest additions were actually installed by going back to terminal and running a few commands. The first one should output the version number of the VirtualBox Guest Additions client, and the second one lists out currently loaded kernel modules that contain the word VBox. In the output, you should see a line with the word VBoxGuest, with a number at the end of that line greater than 0. The last command is not a check, rather it's necessary for the shared folders feature. To test the shared folders feature, go to devices, shared folders settings, click the plus button, select any folder. I'm just going to do the downloads folder, enable auto mount, and press OK, and press OK again. Now if we go to files, you'll see your newly mounted downloads folder and everything in it on your host machine. If we modify it here, you'll see the changes reflected on your host machine as well, and vice versa. Another feature of guest additions that's useful is clipboard sharing, aka copying and pasting from and to the VM and the host machine. To enable this, simply go to devices, shared clipboard, and select one of these. I'm going to do bidirectional, and now I can copy and paste with Ctrl-C&V from the VM to the host and back. Note that the command for copying and pasting from and to the terminal in the VM is Ctrl-Shift-C and V. The last feature of guest additions I want to go over is resizing the screen so that it fits perfectly in the window view. No black borders or gaps, and no scroll bars or overflowing. To achieve this, go to View and select Auto Resize Guest Display. And that is all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord server. Follow us on our other social media pages. Support the channel like our higher tier patron Morgan Heidemann. And have a nice day.